Good evening, everyone. My colleague Tom Hudson is off tonight. One of the most sweeping fraud cases brought in the wake of the housing collapse was filed today in Washington. The Securities and Exchange Commission charged former Fannie Mae CEO Daniel Mudd and former Freddie Mac CEO Richard Syron and 4 others with hiding the risky nature of subprime loans. The collapse of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac is projected to cost taxpayers $124 billion. The former CEOs say they plan to fight the charges. Syron's attorney calls them, quote, fatally flawed. As Darren Gersh reports, some believe there could be cracks in the case's foundation.
SEC lawyers say around the time the housing bubble peaked, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac executives used misleading definitions of subprime loans to hide the truth from investors.
As they were driving up their market share, Fannie, Freddie, and their executives sought to maintain the illusion that the business involved minimal and manageable credit risk.
The SEC says former Fannie Mae CEO Daniel Mudd and former Freddie Mac CEO Richard Syron and 4 other top executives committed securities fraud, hiding risks that eventually brought down the mortgage giants. The case cites Freddie Mac's June 2008 disclosure showing the company held $6 billion in subprime loans. The SEC claims the figure should have been $244 billion. Fannie Mae told investors as late as June 2008 that it had just $8 billion in subprime loans. But the SEC says the true figure was $102 billion. In a statement, former Fannie Mae CEO Daniel Mudd says he took the advice of auditors, regulators, and even former SEC lawyers, adding, every piece of material data about loans held by Fannie Mae was known to the United States government and to the investing public. The SEC is wrong, and I look forward to a court where fairness and reason, not politics, is the standard for justice. The SEC case may hinge on definitions. To meet affordable housing goals set by Congress, Fannie Mae created the Expanded Approval Loan Program to offer better financing to borrowers with limited down payments or credit problems. Freddie Mac created a similar product named Home Possible. But attorneys for former Freddie Mac CEO Richard Syron add the SEC has ignored the fact that the term subprime had no uniform definition in the market, and that the federal government itself refused to define the term and bring clarity to the industry and the market. SEC lawyers counter both Fannie and Freddie internally referred to many of their loans as high risk or subprime-like.
The fact that they may have been designated for certain goals or certain programs doesn't relieve the senior executives of the obligations to make sure that the public filings are accurate.
Robert Plotkin specializes in defending clients in securities cases. His firm has done some legal work for Fannie and Freddie, though not in this case. Plotkin says SEC lawyers have a tough job ahead of them.
If the executives can demonstrate that they relied on professional advice that was given to them in good faith, that negates their fraudulent intent.
The irony in this case is that both Syron and Mudd were brought in as CEO to clean up the mess left over from accounting scandals. Now they are charged with using accounting tricks to hide risks that have cost taxpayers dearly. Darren Gersh, Nightly Business Report, Washington.
Here on Wall Street, it was a nervous day. Worries about Europe put an end to an early rally for the blue chips. Fitch Ratings warned it could downgrade the debt of 6 European countries, including Italy, Spain, and Ireland. Fitch also changed its outlook on France to negative. The ratings firm said in a statement that a, quote, comprehensive solution to the Eurozone crisis is technically and politically beyond reach. While investors focused on that Fitch news and shrugged off good news on inflation, the Labor Department said that the consumer price index was flat in November.